Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Palm Tree Sports, brought to you by IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. As every week, we continue to dive into this world of sports. My name is Corey Pujols, and I will be hosting this show this evening. Guys, welcome back again for the 27th installment of Palm Tree Sports. Guys, I'm so excited to have you here. We got such a loaded night, a loaded weekend ahead of us here in the Sunshine State. So many things going on, so many things to be on the lookout for, so many things that are coming up in the near future, and still steady on past that. Guys, I want to go ahead and get started with the NFL. We're going to jump right into things. We're not going to waste any time. And the reason why I want to start with the NFL, for those who do not know, is because primarily down here, I think Florida is known for its football teams. For those who do not know, of course, we have three great teams here in the South. We have the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, my personal favorite team. We have the Miami Dolphins, a legendary team in their own right, and one of the youngest teams in the league, the Jacksonville Jaguars, guys. So it is my pleasure to cover these teams, and we're going to go ahead and dive into the Bucks first. Now, because we're in the off season, guys, as always, there's considerably less going on than there normally is, but that's okay. You know, that doesn't mean we don't have anything to talk about. In fact, the Bucks made a splash sign, and for those who do not know, it's incredible to see what they've been able to do up until this point under Jason Lynch, just because of the cap space issue. For those who do not know or were not keeping up with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, we were $55 million over the cap, guys. That's cinco, all right? You know, double nickel. Derek Brooks wore that number, the Tampa Bay great, for those who remember him. And I'm sharing that with you guys just as a reminder of how amazing Jason Lynch is, not just as a GM and a manager of players, but to be able to turn that type of negative into the positive. The players that we've been able to sign, Greg Gaines, of course, and now the latest one, Neil Ryan, safety from Seattle. This guy actually already trains down here in Tampa, Florida, calls this place a second home. So we are very grateful to have him. He was graded as the NFL's highest graded safety, my apologies, last year. Again, he was playing for Seattle. His tape is phenomenal. The guy is very good in coverage. He's got great ball skills, and he also knows how to make a play, especially when it's necessary. And he's not a one-trick pony. He's very good from the blitzing position as far as a safety is concerned. You know, a lot of safeties, they struggle with blitzing. This is not one of those safeties. So I am very happy with this signing of Ryan Neal again. And with that being said, that also fixes a big problem that we were going to have on the back end. Now, for those who do not know, we lost Mike Edwards. He was probably our best safety aside from Antoine Winfield Jr. However, for those who were following Tampa Bay Buccaneers, you guys know Antoine Winfield was injured a lot last year. So Mike Edwards played a lot last year. He was phenomenal. He's since moved on, and with that being said, we were able to fill that vacant position there with, Ryan Neal. So very happy with that signing. Good job, Tampa Bay, at looking at the board and pulling out something like that. It's just absolutely a starstruck that you guys were able to sign the highest graded safety in the NFL from last season. Guys, that's just, you can't really beat that, and it's not something that you're going to see happen often. So I'm very thankful and happy that we were able to get him and fulfill that need. Now, we also hired a couple of assistants. Now, for these assistants, one is a offensive coordinator's assistant, and then the other one is, I believe, the quarterback coach's assistant, okay? And what that means is, essentially, these guys, their jobs are to provide information and feedback based off of trial and error. So, if I may, for those who have ever been coached before, you have coaches who have the experience, and they've had experience leading multiple teams. They've been, all around, for all intents and purposes, the United States, or at least all around when it comes down to playing the game of football and playing with different teams, different strategies, and different players. Now, when you have guys that are assistants, essentially what they're doing is they're helping that coaching position while learning the position that coach already has. So you have an assistant head coach, right? Well, what's the assistant head coach do? In high school and in college, those assistant head coaches are defensive coordinator, offensive coordinator, guys that tend to go into offensive and defensive, my apologies, the offensive coordinator, defensive coordinator, which potentially can become head coaches, is what we see all the time. For instance, with Todd Bowles, he was defensive coordinator for a long time on multiple occasions. Bill Belichick was former defensive coordinator, okay? So when you look at those positions, they are the stepping stools, or I want to say stepping stools, more like the steps up a ladder, right, to be able to acquire the means necessary to run those positions. So two assistants that we signed were Jordan Somerville and David Rowland. Now, I don't know if I said his name properly, but I'm not very familiar with David. Somerville, I did see, I believe he coached with the Cardinals. Back Larry Fitzgerald was on that team during the time, so that's some experience right there, and that's some good experience. Larry Fitzgerald, one of the greatest wide receivers to ever do it in the NFL, so that's a very big need that was most likely filled by a genuinely experienced individual, to say the least. And that's, I think, what we're looking for, chief among the things that we need as far as the team is concerned, especially from a leadership perspective and a feedback perspective, right? Because it's going to be very hard to improve on something if you don't have eyes outside of the picture. Imagine being in a picture and trying to see the entire picture. It's hard to do that when you're in the frame, right? These guys help us get outside the frame. So that's the beautiful part there. Now, last but not least, the Bucs, of course, are still going to have to utilize the draft to basically fill the needs of what's left. Those needs would include a little bit of D-line and edge help, more specifically the edge. And I would say that because obviously Shaq Barrett, he was injured midseason last year. And because of that injury, I don't know if he's going to be back. I don't think he will be back for the beginning of the season, meaning we're going to have two young guys up there on the edge. We're definitely going to need one more body there for the edge. We're definitely going to need defensive back help. We did lose, quite a bit of our defensive secondary in the free agency, and that's what you come to expect. Unfortunately, there's not a lot we can really do about that, and because of the cap situation, of course. So we're going to have to look towards the future and look to these young guys to, play really good football and help provide this team what we need. All right, guys. Now, with that being said, let's go ahead and let's get right on to the Jaguars. Now, the Jaguars are in a different situation than the Buccaneers, right? They have a very, very good young team, very talented and young team. This is not something that you see very often in the NFL, and it's a good thing for the Jaguars, especially with Trevor Lawrence and the way that he played last year. Absolutely phenomenal work. Second half of the season was a comeback kid of the year, in my opinion, and you love to see it. Now, they were able to clear up some space, restructuring Rayshawn Jenkins' contract first, create some space. That's necessary. Even though they have all that they have, it would be foolish of a team to feel that they cannot improve any further. And that's exactly what the Jaguars are trying to do, improve further. And that's even more evident by the fact that Trevor Lawrence was able to take the team and have some all-season practices. What that means is you guys may have seen tape from before, Tom Brady taking the team, taking his receivers, his tight ends, going to a high school or college field, wherever he can get his hands on, and just drilling it, just getting those extra reps in, the reps that you don't see, the reps that don't get talked about on ESPN and SportsCenter, guys. Those are the kind of things that separate the champions from not the champions. So, with that being said, good job, Jags. Keep doing what you're doing. Trevor, continue to build that leadership that you have with the team, the camaraderie and the ability to get that team to do what they need to do from the player perspective and also from a leadership perspective, because a team is only as good as its leader. I mean, and that's standard for any sport, any profession, any military, anything that you do in life or any type of aspect in life is something that requires good leadership. So, Trevor, excellent. I'm glad to hear it. In the draft, you guys have a few things that you guys are going to have to address. Offensive line, defensive back, and safety help for sure. And if you guys can do that, I don't see why you guys wouldn't be a top 5 team in the AFC. I don't see why you guys can't win your division again. And I would just love to see what happens next. At the end of the day, though, it's definitely going to come down to the longevity of the team, right? We know you have talent, but how long can that talent play at a high pace? Right? How long can you guys sustain what you're building in Jacksonville and Duval? And I think you guys are going to be good. I really think you guys are going to do really good this year. I could see you guys going 12-4, but don't tell anybody I said that. Tell the world. I'm just playing. Tell the world. I would love the Jaguars to go 12-4. Best of luck to you guys in this upcoming season. I can't wait to see what you're able to do, especially with Trevor Lawrence, ETM there running the offense. Now, the Fins. Fins are in a different ball game right now. They're in a different area as far as their offseason is concerned. They have people who are leaving in free agency while they're signing more free agents. So that's kind of a rotating door where you expect it down in Miami, especially after the year they had such an up and down season, a season that definitely didn't go 100% that they wanted to. However, a phenomenal season nonetheless. You can't take anything away from what this offense was able to do. And when all their players are healthy, it's a top 5 offense, maybe a top 3 offense in the league. Something to consider down in Miami. Now, Teddy Bridgewater has been drawing interest from the Lions. He's got a contract coming up. And with that being said, we don't know what Miami's going to do with that. The reason why I say that is because Teddy Bridgewater is a good quarterback. However, there are two things. He is very injury prone, one, and two, he's a backup quarterback. But does Miami want to lose their backup quarterback? That's really the question. Now, will they be able to stop it? Maybe, maybe not. Who knows? We'll see what happens there. However, the Lions are looking at him, and it's very possible the Lions may pick him up. Just something for you guys to consider down there in Miami. Now, Tyreek Hill went on to go ahead and say that he would be retiring after his stint with Miami. So that doesn't really surprise me. He's had such a really good career so far up until this point, but I also see where, after this contract, this huge contract that he signed, that he may, he's probably going to be out of gas. He's going to want to do other things. So that's just something for Miami fans to get ready for. I'm pretty sure you guys may have expected that. If you didn't, it's from the horse's mouth. He said he's pretty much going to retire after his contract is up with Miami. So hopefully they can play some good football, get him to a Super Bowl, perhaps back to a Super Bowl, I should say. Of course, he won one with Kansas City. Had he stayed, maybe he wins one last year. Maybe he doesn't. Who knows what happens there, honestly. I'll tell you this much. Tyreek Hill is a special talent, and this team is a good team. However, they're going to need to assess some things. Again, just as I said with the Jags and the Buccaneers, they're going to have to address some things in the draft. Among those things, numero uno, guys, they need defensive tackle help. Okay, there's no confusion about that. They're going to need defensive tackle help after that. They're going to need to sign a running back, tight end, offensive line are going to be things that they're going to be addressing throughout the draft. I heavily expect them to go too deep in most of these categories, and if not three, depending on the scenario, depending on who's available, and depending on what type of trades and moves that are made. The draft is a crazy, it's a crazy weekend in general because of what the GM. This is one of the few times that all 32 GMs are essentially just talking to each other. And they're like, hey, what are you doing? What do you want? What can you give me for this pick? What can I have for that pick? There's going to be a lot of negotiating and a lot of, to say the least, maneuverability for a lot of teams. We've seen crazy things happen during the draft process, so I expect more crazy things to happen. I can't wait, and that means I can't wait to see what Miami does as well. All three teams are going to be looking ahead to build their team and roster up to return back to the playoffs, as all three teams made the playoffs last year. With that being said, we'll see if they're able to return to prominence this coming up season, and if they're able to do so, obviously we'll be looking forward to that. And what basically takes place from obviously the first round is going to be a very interesting round. We got 5 very good quarterbacks that may very well go. The Buccaneers will be looking at drafting a quarterback, however, Miami and the Jags are not. So with that being said, we'll see what happens, and I really hope that all the teams are able to address their needs properly, so that way we may see the best rosters coming out of our teams in Florida. Now, with that being said, guys, let's go ahead and get into our first break. When we get back, we'll talk NCAA. We'll talk a little basketball. We're going to talk some hockey and baseball. And, guys, you're not going to want to miss the baseball part. Our Rays are just on fire, guys. They're on fire. They're on fire. So keep it locked here at Palm Tree Sports. Again, my name is Corey Pools, your host for Palm Tree Sports, brought to you by IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports.
What's up, sports fans? Are you looking for the latest on Northern California sports? Then take a trip out west with me, your host, Gina G, on Reppin' the NorCal Sports, right here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. I'll be bringing it to you all the way live every Monday at 3 p.m. Pacific, 6 p.m. Eastern. And it's always a packed show. I'll bring you everything Dynastic 49ers, the bite of the San Jose Sharks, torture of the San Francisco Giants, the Golden State Warriors that we still believe. Then take you across the bay to the rise and grind of the Oakland A's. I've got you covered on college ball from the Cal Bears to the Stanford Cardinal, so that no matter what, reppin' in NorCal sports is always reppin' the Bay. So if you bleed red and gold, or you're looking to keep an eye out west in them thar hills, Don't miss me, Gina G, on Reppin' in NorCal Sports. Catch me every Monday at 3 p.m. Pacific, 6 p.m. Eastern, and I'll have your fandom repped harder than a trio of defenders guarding Stephen Curry before his buzzer beater is Gucci.
Lopan, they didn't even want you. Heck, they didn't even want me. But you know what? Right about now, they have no choice. Looking for the real sports talk? Talk that's for us, the people? Look no further. The Wait a Minute Show, a prime time sports comedy cocktail that tucks you in at night. Join me and Lopan Wednesdays at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on the 2livestewsradio.com and Saturday 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on the waitaminuteshow.com. Sounds like a plan to me. Ain't that right, Lopan?
And you know that's the best part about IE Sports Radio. Again, I'll say this every show until everybody gets it. We have something for everything, guys. Doesn't matter what you like. Doesn't matter where you're from. It doesn't matter who you follow. There's something for you here at IE Sports Radio. All you got to do is find it, and we're here for you guys. Hey, my name is Corey Pujols. Welcome back to Palm Tree Sports Radio. It is brought to you by IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. And, guys, thank you again for checking in. You know, real quick, I apologize for not being here last week, guys. For those who listen to the show weekly, it's such a crazy life we live in, a crazy time to be alive, but it's still a blessing nonetheless, and I'm glad to be here, guys. Now, with that out of the way, let's talk about a little college. Now, here's the thing with college, guys. This is a weird time, right? March Madness just wrapped up. Things were crazy. Congratulations to all the champions. The Final Four was absolutely wild with so many teams that we didn't expect to make it. Congratulations again to all those teams. What a phenomenal set. And with basketball now being over in the college scene, it's just opening up room for now football, who all the teams have been in spring practice. That includes the Gators, that includes the Miami Hurricanes, and of course the Noles for those who are Florida State fans. And there's a lot to unpack when it comes down to spring. However, we don't get to see it until the season starts. What does that mean? Right now, these teams are in the laboratory. While the laboratory is currently being used, we know a couple of things coming out of each of these colleges, and we'll start with Florida. One, there is a quarterback duel going on, and it's between Graham Mertz and Jack Miller III. Guys, these two quarterbacks right now are fighting for the starting position. Both quarterbacks look good through 10 or so practices, a couple of live scrimmages, and of course the orange and blue game, which is always a heritage, a special heritage down here in the state of Florida. For those who don't know, that's basically the first time that the offense and the starting offense and starting defensive players, my correction there, they play each other essentially in a small scrimmage, going through scenarios that you're going to experience in game against other teams and perfecting those scenarios, right? So, with that being said, the quarterback competition, of course, like I said, it's been there this whole time. It's only going to get better. And so far, Billy Napier is happy with what he's seeing with both of these quarterbacks. Now, the thing is, obviously, who's going to win over the rest of the coaching staff? That's probably who's going to be the starter. That's what we're going to be looking for. I wouldn't be surprised if it's Graham, but Jack, he did show some things in his game that warranted the battle that's happening, the quarterback, battle that's happening down there. So good luck to both men. May the best man win. And if even still, just because the best man wins doesn't mean the other guy's not going to have a chance. So of course, Jack, Graham, just keep up the good work, guys. We look forward to seeing what you guys are going to be able to put on the table. As far as baseball is concerned, both the Gators and the Noles are ranked, and they are playing pretty good baseball at the time. Unfortunately, the Noles dropped their rubber match against against Clemson, so that sucks. However, the Gators are ranked third, if I'm not mistaken. Now, that's typical. We expect good baseball from the Florida Gators. The Noles, of course, again, playing good baseball, dropping the match against Clemson, but that doesn't mean they're out of the woodworks yet. So, we'll see what they're able to do. Speaking of the Noles, they're still in full swing recruiting for future seasons, and let's just say their recruiting has been heating up. They played a great season last year, and there's no doubt that season has crept up in the minds of a lot of these young players who had their eyes on Florida State and make them want to return. The return of Florida State, speaking of returns, has been widely noticeable over the last 365 days. They look good, and they're only, continuing to get better, especially with the players that they're adding. So congratulations to the Noles and what they're able to do. Keep doing what you're doing, Noles. Again, because we're in the off season, there's not going to be as many splashy headlines as there would be if this was the regular season, and that's where we're at right now. So continue to follow for updates based on what's going on. Again, no big moves right now, nothing really shaking the house, just a lot of practices. The Noles, of course, are 12 practices in now, and they look good. I can't say any other way. I've seen some of the highlights. I've seen some of the clips on YouTube, on Twitter. Hey, down here we play football. That's one thing we know how to do, yeah? So, keep it up, Noles. Huge upside this year for the football team. We'll see if they're able to deliver. And then from the meantime, between time, we just got to wait and see, guys. We just have to wait and see. So, as we move on over to the Hurricanes, all right, Miami is not doing so hot right now. Last season was a struggle for them. It was a struggle for the Gators, but Miami I don't know. Let's just say right now they're in a rebuilding, facet, and they're definitely taking care of key positions that need to be filled. That much is so. Again, we've talked about this about a month ago. They filled their defensive coordinator positions along with the other positions that were vacant. That's what they needed to do. In the meantime, they've been obviously recruiting as best they can. Quarterback improvements, of course, but still young, so experience will be needed. Until that experience takes off, the team is just going to continue to have to build, practice, and repeat the process until they're where the Noles are right now. Again, the Noles are looking like they could possibly win the Atlantic, depending on what happens with Clemson and their recruiting. Dabo Swinney, of course, is a legendary coach. We know what he can do. He's a great recruiter. So if Florida State can rival that, they'll have them a good season, guys. I look forward to see what's happening there. Now, as I mentioned before, the offseason for college football is always bland. It's always like this, guys. So, like I said, stay tuned. And we're going to update you as soon as, more exciting things happen. But until the season starts, there's going to be a little bit more of this practice, recruit. The recruiting now is for the next season, so 2023-24 season, 2024-25 season, as most of the recruiting for the 2023-24 season is already wrapped up, and these teams are suited up, and they are practicing. They're practicing their behinds off, guys. So I can't wait to see what's going to happen at the end of the summer, especially when we return back to full form college football. It's one of my favorite sports. It's one of my favorite things to watch. Anything can happen in college football, guys. So anybody who's been looking for an excuse to start watching college football, here's your reason. Anything can happen. The worst team can beat the best team. We've seen it happen. A few years ago, if you guys remember, Purdue upset Ohio State. Ohio State was ranked second at the time. Purdue was unranked. Things like that, guys. It just gets your heart pumping. You know what I'm saying? Absolutely phenomenal game. And it's things like that that draw us back to college. Not just college football, college baseball, college basketball, as we just saw recently with the Final Four wrap-up, and, of course, the ladies' Final Four. LSU. Hey, shout out to LSU and Angel Reese and the girls. Hey, those guys played phenomenal basketball, okay, and they shut down Miss Clark, the sniper from Iowa. So she's a very good ball player, but it's a team game, guys, and LSU showed that, scoring the most points in their illustrious win in the first national championship. So I'd be far-fetched not to tell them congratulations. Also, as a Gator, for those who do not know, the Gators and the LSU Tigers are eternal rivals. So what that means is they are on the West, and we are on the East, and we are the two teams that play each other every year, okay? As in, we don't play Alabama every year. We don't play Auburn every year, but we will play LSU every year. So, congratulations, LSU, and, just all the props in the world to you guys for what you're able to accomplish in your first national championship. Now, the NBA. Guys, the NBA is such a flip, right? So, we have two teams, the Miami Heat, my team here in Florida, and now my team outside. I'm a huge LeBron James fan, for those who do not know, so I do follow the Lake Show. I'm very glad to see how they've been performing, but that's not part of my show. I don't cover the Lakers. I cover Miami and Orlando. Miami, I love Miami, of course, as well, and they made the playoffs, guys. They've done what they've needed to do. They've been playing good basketball. They're 7th in the East right now. Now, their final two games are against the Magic, so we'll talk about that obviously in a second, but they also going to play against the Hawks. Now, those two games do matter for seeding. However, Miami, I believe, has already clinched, and that's the beautiful part. Now, with that being said, the Miami Heat's record sitting at 43-38, all right, +5, gotta love it. Been +5 pretty much the whole second half of the season, to be honest with you. Behind the fact that they've been able to get healthy and play good defense again. They dropped the game against the Wizards sitting at 35-46. That game went to 114-108. That was yesterday's game, which means we got a game coming up tomorrow, guys. And that game is, again, against the Magic, 1 p.m. if you're looking for a reason to watch. Now, there's also going to be Rays baseball tomorrow at 1 p.m., and we'll get into that in a second. So, just an alert for you to know, if you're going to be flipping the channels back and forth, yes, you will have Rays baseball, and you will have Miami Heat basketball. Of course, the Orlando Magic is the team they're going to be playing, so if you're an Orlando Magic fan, then, hey, this is for you as well. With that being said, we have the Heat are sitting at 3-1 in the last 4 games, all right? That one loss coming by way of the Wizards. So, hopefully they put these 2 wins together at the end of the season. Much dismay of the Magic is what I mean to say. My apologies, you guys. That will be the telltale sign of where they're going to end up as far as seeding goes. So, next game, like I said, against the Magic tomorrow, 1 p.m. if you're looking forward to watching that. Final game is going to be against the Hawks. That's Tuesday, April 11th, 7 p.m., all right? But with that being said, hopefully they can win these final 2 games and get to the 45-win mark, which would look really good on them right now. Let's just call it like what it is, okay? It will look good on them. So congratulations on making the playoffs, Heat. Keep doing what you're doing. I hope that you guys, wrap up the regular season properly, so that way you may enter the postseason properly. Magic, other side of the spectrum, right? Magic record sitting at 34-47. Of course, they just lost the game to the Nets. They just dropped that 145 and 36 be the Nets record. Not really a surprise there. I think the Magic are just ready to get this season over and start the rebuild process. It's a process. It's something that can't be avoided. I think that they'll be much better next season, and gotta hope that, right? Dad, if you're listening, just, well, we can watch the final game, but just looking forward to the next season, guys. My dad's an Orlando Magic fan, so that's for him. With that being said, of course, that last game for the Magic is against the Heat. Tomorrow at 1 p.m. So after that game, there'll be no more Magic basketball for the rest of the season. They didn't clinch any playoff. Sitting at 13th in the the Eastern Conference. So, again, just, we're going to look forward to the draft. Hopefully things work out. And I just hope and pray that they're able to develop properly and make some moves in the offseason. Trade for some good free agents. Build your team up. Do something. Because I know Orlando's kind of missing it, I think we've missed the playoffs a lot of years. I can't tell you how many years it's been. I'll have to get back. Hopefully I can get that stat for you next week when we return here on Palm Tree Sports. But until then, just going to have to wait and see what happens next season. And again, the draft and free agency is going to be the 2 things they're going to need to focus on and put this season behind them and focus on the future. Miami, keep doing what you're doing, guys. Now, let's go ahead and get to our second break for the evening. When we get back, we're going to check in with the Rays. The best thing I want to talk about this evening besides the UFC card tonight. So, guys, Rays playing really good baseball. So, keep it locked here. Palm Tree Sports Radio. My name is Corey Pujols. Your host is brought to you and powered by IE Sports Radio as always. And like I said, when we get back here, we'll talk Rays baseball. We'll talk Bolts hockey, and then we'll talk some MMA. We got a great show tonight. All right, guys, keep it locked here.
What's good, fight fans? It's your boy, Marcus Los Rate, here to give you what you want, here to give you what you need. Yeah, man. Yeah. I'm coming to you live, straight from your mama's basement with a crispy, awesome white tea. They're coming to you live every Tuesday at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Powered by IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports.
What's going on, football fans? This is me, your boy Larry B, inviting you to join myself, Colin Reynolds, Mike Pat, and John Felipe for one of the most electrifying football shows you have ever heard. 3 and Out, right here at IE Sports Radio. Recap of the week before, a preview of what's to come, and of course, 3 hardcore head-to-head prime-time face-offs each week. You don't want to miss it.
And guys, that was Larry right there. That's the man of the hour. That's the magic man, if you will. The guy that put this all together. And may I add, a guy that I take a lot of my material from, something that I can mimic, I guess. I'm never going to quite be on that level, but it's something to strive for. For all those who are pursuing anything, you guys, I'm sure, have somebody that you look up to. And this is one of the guys that not only did he give me my opportunity here, but he also has been able to show me and mentor me in different ways to be able to perfect my craft and get better. Now, obviously, I'm far from being where I want to be, but that's part of the process and that's part of the journey. And guys, I'm so glad that you're here taking it with me. I appreciate the patience and the love and the support from you guys. Now, with that being said, again, my name is Corey Pujols, your host for Palm Tree Sports, brought to you by IE Sports Radio. You know what it is, your direct feed for all that is sports. And guys, now we're at the best part of the show. Now, the reason why this is the best part of the show is because this is the part that actually has the positivity behind it from the sense of winning. What does that mean? Our Rays, guys, listen, let me put it to you like this, all right? Best start to Rays baseball in Rays history. All right, guys, 7-0, looking to make it 8-0, currently playing the Athletics. Last time I saw it was middle of the 6th, up 5-0 on the Athletics. Now, to anybody who may like the Athletics, I apologize, but hey, I'm a Rays fan. We've been through a lot. We deserve this. Not only do we deserve it, we deserve every bit of it, guys. We've been doing it behind tremendous offense and even more phenomenal defense. These guys know exactly what they're doing. Kevin Cash is managing the heaven out of this team, guys. I am so excited to see our boys playing at this high level, and not just one game at a time or 2 games at a time. I'm talking about 7-0 and about to be 8-0, baby. I'm excited and I love it. For those who do not know, I am Black and Puerto Rican, and the reason why I tell you that is because for Hispanic heritage, we love the game of baseball. We play baseball. My granddaddy still plays baseball, and he's like 76. Okay, guys, I'm excited because look at what we're doing. Rays, keep doing what you're doing, guys. Again, up. Right now, it was 5-0 last time I saw it. Could be better. I hope it's not worse, of course. But to be completely honest with you, it's not like we're playing the Red Sox yet. Now, that's going to be the next series, 4-game series against the Red Sox once we finish this series against the Athletics. But, again, Athletics sitting at 2-5. Rays sitting at 7-0. Rays up 5-0 last time I saw it. Obviously, I'll be able to post that score back on my Twitter, which is at Corey Pujols on Twitter. Again, come find me over there. We can talk about anything you guys want, any sport, any team, anytime, any place. With that being said, the Rays, hottest team in baseball, guys, and hottest offense in baseball. Love to see it. Haven't seen it like this in a long time. Haven't seen our Rays play this well in a long time, to say the least in general. They scored 2 runs in the 3rd. 3 runs in the 5th, all right? Oh, my bad. That was 2 runs in the 4th and 3 runs in the 5th. The 3 runs were off of one swing. That was a 3-run homer to extend the lead out to 5. And like I said, the offense has just been crushing it. I don't know, obviously, how long they'll be able to sustain this. At some point, there will be a loss on the record, but we're going to have to take that on the chin and do the best we can to move on. Like I said before, next 4 games are going to be against the Red Sox. We'll see what happens there. Now, we did well against the Red Sox in spring baseball. We'll just have to continue to hope that that trend follows itself. Now, excuse me, my apologies there, guys. Now, the next game is going to be against the Athletics. That's tomorrow, 1 p.m., as I mentioned before. So, if you're looking at NBA basketball or MLB baseball, both are going to be on at the same time. So, you're going to be flipping back and forth between the channels for sure, to say the least. Give it a woot. Go check out the team. Go check out. Hey, and also today they're wearing the throwback jerseys. For those who do not know, the Rays classic jerseys. Now, down here in Tampa, the classic jerseys are the ones that we love. The new jerseys are great, sure. But the Tampa Bay Devil Rays, that was a one-of-a-kind look. The green, the purple, slap it on the white, slap it on the black, slap it on the smoke gray, and it looked good no matter what, guys. I personally will be going when I get the chance, and obviously the, a little bit of money set to the side. I'm gonna go catch me one of those jerseys. I want to get a Rosarina jersey, and I want to get it in the old Devil Rays uni, and I want a hat too. So, but we'll work on that when we get the chance, right, guys? I'm just over here kind of blowing off a little bit because I'm so excited to see our Rays playing this well. Now, again, like I said, after this game, this was final game against the Athletics tomorrow at 1 p.m. We got a 4-game stretch against the Red Sox, and after that, we'll see where the Rays are at. If they happen to come out undefeated there, not only will it have been the best start in Rays history, I think that will have been one of the best starts by any team in MLB history. I have to go back and look at the stat. I think it was 12-0 was like the best start. I can't exactly remember what it was. I remember reading an article about it, but I can't remember exactly what the stats were for that team and what year that was. So that'll be something else I can get back to you guys on next week, and I can't wait to deliver that, as well as putting it on Twitter. Again, come at me, Corey Pujols on Twitter. Whenever you're there, tell me what's on your mind, guys. A lot of the time we're talking about heavily favored opinions across the world of sports. It's not just about the Sunshine State sports and the teams here. It's anywhere, anything, you name it, we're going to talk about it, all right? Now, that's it for the Rays. Again, hottest team in baseball. Keep it up, boys. Love to see you doing what you do. Let's just see if you guys continue with the rest of the season, get to the playoffs, crush the playoffs, bring us home a world championship. And that is the one thing that we so desperately are missing down here in Titletown in Tampa, is a Rays World Series victory. Can't wait for it, guys. I know it's coming. Now, for the NHL, the team who has the most championships here in Central Florida, our Bolts, are going back to the playoffs again, guys. They've done it. That's correct. They've clinched. And not only that, they're sitting at third right now in the Atlantic. They're playing really good hockey. I know it's been a little 50-50 the llast couple of games. They've been 3-3 in the last 6. I get it, but they're tired, man. I mean, 3 Stanley Cups back-to-back-to-back. 2 of them titles. The third one so close, couldn't quite squeeze it out. It is what it is. I can't complain. I'm happy. Guys, I'm happy. We got a chance to bring home another one, okay? 3 out of 4 is a dynasty. We already know that. Now, they play the Senators tonight, 7 p.m. For all intents and purposes, this game there's only a few games left, right? So this game matters for standings, but for the time being, let's just be excited that our team made it. Because obviously, like I said, this isn't something that we're not used to not making the playoffs, if you get what I'm saying. And that is in large part due to one man that I want to go ahead and send a shout out to. I absolutely love Steven Stamkos, for those who know. Steven Stamkos has just performed in his 1,000th career game. I'm going to say that one more time. Steven Stamkos, the Bolts legend, has completed 1,000 hockey games. That is a standard measured only by legends, only by greats of the sport. And may I add, Steven Stamkos himself has been an absolute treasure to us in Tampa Bay. So thank you so much, sir, for your contribution to Tampa Bay and what you've been able to do, not just as a teammate, but as a leader for this team and also as a leader out here in our community. Thank you again a million times over, my friend. Now, the next game is going to be against the Maple Leafs after the Senators game. Now, again, that game is tonight at 7 p.m. if you're looking to catch that. Now, I'm going to be watching UFC 287. My apologies, 286 just wrapped up a couple weeks ago. We're going to be watching UFC 287 tonight. So I will do my best to catch that hockey game. But in the meantime, between time, Bolts, just do what you got to do. Again, the following game will be against the Maple Leafs. And then after that, I believe there's only 2 games left. There's 3 games left outside of tonight in the series and before the playoffs start. So obviously once the playoffs start, hopefully our team is good to go. We're going to be missing a couple of guys tonight, which kind of sucks, but unfortunately it is part of the nature of what happened, especially in the last game. There were a bunch of fights in the last game. Now, for those who know, I I'm impartial. I love martial arts. So a good fight every now and again is good for, I honestly think it's just good for the testosterone in the men and also to alleviate some of that pressure, especially if you don't like somebody, if they don't like you. So in hockey, it's something that's allowed. It's something that's great. Of course, there's always, a small penalty that's followed by, but I just like the fact that they let them get a little rowdy, because if you don't, it's going to happen at some point, guys. Let's just call it what it is. So, good job, Bolts. I'm very, very proud of you. Again, 3 games left, including the Maple Leafs game. If you're looking for the Bolts, game tonight, again, 7 p.m., be ready for it. I would just venture to say that they're going to do their best. But the biggest thing here is just, again, saying thank you to Steven Stamkos for that 1,000th game that he was able to complete. Just such a monument, and he's such a standard down here in Tampa. So, again, thank you so much for what you have done. And, go Bolts, as always. Now, guys, this is the part where I get to kind of throw around what I'm looking forward to tonight. Now, as you guys know, like I said, there's going to be plenty of sports on tomorrow. We got Heat and Magic basketball tomorrow at 1 p.m. We got Rays baseball tomorrow at 1 p.m. I'm going to be looking forward to watching both of those games. However, tonight is a big one. UFC 287, all right? Israel Adesanya versus Alex Pineda 4, all right? For those who do not know, I am a avid martial arts fan. It is in the core of me. I study not just mixed martial arts, but I actually practice Muay Thai, and I will be expanding, especially once I have more freedom to myself. I will be expanding into the entire mixed martial arts realm. I have aspirations of becoming a martial artist myself and, just doing what I can to put my stamp in that game. With that being said, until then, we're going to cover it like a mug, and that's what's happening right now. Alex Pineda, I am not a fan of. All right, guys? Surely you guys have heard the term weight bully, okay? In boxing, it's a terminology that gets used in mixed martial arts across all forms of it: Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, Judo, kickboxing, Muay Thai, and wrestling is something that has been used to try and get an edge, all right? What a weight bully is, somebody who does not walk around at the weight that they fight at. Well, what does that mean, Corey? Okay, I'm going to give you an example. Israel Adesanya walks around at 190 pounds. Making weight for 185 is a walk in the park for him. Quite literally, he could just walk in a park and, burn that 4.5 pounds to make weight. 4 pounds, whatever it is. I walk around, guys, it's going to sound kind of weird. I'm not a very big guy, so I walk around at 125. I'm a very fit 125er, though, as in my weight does not fluctuate very much. I am very rarely under 125, and I at the most will be 132. You see what I'm saying? I'm 7 pounds within my weight. Alex Pineda, all right, guys, whether you say his name Pineda or Pereira, Pereira would be the English version, Pineda because he's Brazilian would be the Brazilian way to say it. He walks around, guys, at 120 to 130 pounds, okay? Or my bad, no, 120. Jesus Christ, I can't English right now. 220 to 230 pounds. Guys, that is heavyweight, okay, in the world of martial arts. For those who do not know, that is a heavyweight, all right? He cuts weight to make 185. That is a weight bully. However, he is a phenomenal martial artist. I got to give credit where credit is due. His left hand is absolutely dynamite. It's a nuke. It's a Tsar Bomba if you're from Russia, okay, guys? Like, he is literally a nuke on his left shoulder, all right? However, that does not mean he is susceptible to being not being beat. He lost in kickboxing. He'll lose in martial arts. And let me tell you this: just because you can beat Israel Adesanya doesn't mean you're going to be able to beat Robert Whittaker or some of these other, physically strong and imposing, wrestling-based individuals. See, Alex Pineda is a tremendous striker, but it doesn't matter once you get taken down. Everybody's the same size on the ground, guys. Trust me. I've been in a little Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. I've wrestled a little bit. Let me tell you, when you get on the ground, and I mean on the ground, and y'all are grappling, submission grappling style, everybody's the same size. The question is, who's going to make the first mistake? You ask anybody who works in submissions, that's the question. I mean, who's going to make the first mistake? It better not let it be you. Now, with that being said, the co-main event that's going to be a banger too. We got Jorge Masvidal, Mr. 305, all right? That's correct, repping Miami, and he's going to be fighting Gilbert Burns. Gilbert Burns Four-time Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu national champion, absolutely phenomenal fighter, one of my more favorite fighters to watch. But I'd be lackadaisical to tell you that I'm not any type of a Jorge Masvidal fan. I love a good striker, and that's exactly what he is, a tremendous striker from down south Miami, guys. And he has the tape to prove it. So I'm going to go ahead and shoot on my predictions, and then I'll let you guys get to it. So for the co-main event, I'm going to go Burns, second round submission over Masvidal. There's a caveat to that. Masvidal can land, and if he lands and hurts Gilbert, the fight could end early. Masvidal does have a knack for finishing fights early via striking. So that could be a KO, TKO for him, but I feel like if they make it out of the first round, it's going to be submission Gilbert Burns in the second or third, preferably the second. And I'm going to stay with that trend in the second round and say that Israel Adesanya is going to reclaim his belt against Alex Pineda in the second round via KO. Now, this KO can come a couple of different ways. There are many holes in Alex Pineda's striking game. People just don't pay attention to it because, again, he's 6'4", 230 pounds. The guy's a heavyweight fighting at middleweight, all right? So, again, I will always stand by that statement. For those who know striking, though, Israel Adesanya was able to land a lot of leg kicks, which means that opens up the middle and the middle of the guard. Whenever somebody get kicked in the leg, if you ever see what happens next, they're balanced, they wiggle a little bit, right? So if you kick that leg the right way and it moves out, if they don't check it, the upper body gets a little bit tense. You see what I'm saying? And once it gets tense, there's an opening to strike at the body of your head. Alex Pineda being so big leaves these opening for Israel Adesanya. If you guys watched the first fight, you saw at the end of the first round that Izzy rocked and wobbled Alex Pineda. That's exactly what I think is going to happen again. Only I think Israel's actually going to finish. He's going to pounce, and he's not going to give Alex any time to make it through. If there's one thing that Izzy learned in that first fight, in the martial arts fight versus the kickboxing fights, is that he can take that punch. Okay, it's gonna hurt, but he can take it, guys. So for those who do not know the story behind these two, I'll run through it very quickly. They met in kickboxing before mixed martial arts. Alex Pineda won a horrible decision. This is part of the reason why I believe that it was good for Izzy to get out of the kickboxing scene and find his way into the martial arts scene, due to the fact that he is an all-encompassing fighter. Alex Pineda is becoming that. However, Izzy has been doing it longer and has more experience. And what that means is that there's going to be more experience for Izzy to call upon to go get his title back. I believe it's Izzy's time. I believe he's going to come back thunderous, and he's going to just absolutely finish Alex Pineda. I look forward to seeing this fight, guys. I hope you guys look forward to seeing it too. It's going to be a phenomenal fight. In the meantime, between time, guys, thank you so much for joining me here at Palm Tree Sports Radio. My name is Corey Pujols, your host, and as always, is brought to you and powered by IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports, guys. Come hit me up on Twitter and Instagram at Corey Pujols anytime. I'm always talking sports, always talking martial arts, always talking football, basketball, soccer, tennis, hockey, whatever your stilo is, guys. Come holler at me. I thank you so much for joining me here on this evening, on Saturday evening, my apologies, 6 p.m., which will be the same time next week, guys. I look forward to talking to you all. Until then, spend time with your family. Have a wonderful weekend. Look out for Rays baseball, Heat and Magic basketball tomorrow at 1. 7 p.m. tonight, we got Bolts hockey, and then, of course, UFC 287. Shoot me your opinions. Shoot me some love. I'll return it. Look forward to talking to you guys. As always, have a wonderful weekend. All right.